When we talk about the golden era of Hollywood, one name that consistently stands out is Gary Cooper. Known for his rugged good looks, quiet charisma, and a screen presence that simply couldn't be ignored, Cooper didn't just play the hero in movies, he was the embodiment of the classic American hero. Yet, there's so much more to his story than what you might expect. From his humble beginnings, rise to fame, tumultuous personal life, and unforgettable contributions to film history, Gary Cooper's life is a story worth telling. Gary Cooper was born on May 7th in Helena, Montana, a city which is not exactly famous for its ties with the world of cinema. Cooper's real name? Frank James Cooper. Yes, they named him Gary later, but let us not get ahead of ourselves here. He was born to British immigrants and his father was a practicing judge. Born and raised on a ranch, Frank also enjoyed a love of the great outdoors, which would play a large role in the films he made later in his career. He was taught how to ride horses, fish, and even shoot at a tender age. This placed him in good stead when Hollywood decided to cast him in numerous westerns. However, getting to fame was not a smooth ride for Gary. He attended art school, and after working in a series of menial jobs, he relocated to Los Angeles during the 1920s. As for many others before him, he arrived to Hollywood with a dream in his pocket. But the first few years were apparently rigorous for him, and he got small and brief roles for several years. It was not until he adopted the screen name Gary, after his agent's home city of Gary, Indiana, that things really began to take off. The turning point came in 1926 when Cooper landed a small role in the silent film The Winning of Barbara Worth. His appearance in the film was brief, but impactful enough to catch the attention of casting agents, and it wasn't long before Cooper was getting more substantial roles. The real game changer, however, came with Wings in 1927, a World War I epic that went on to win the first ever Academy Award for Best Picture. Cooper only had a brief scene, but it was enough to make audiences take notice. He had a way of stealing the screen with his effortless charm and commanding presence, even when he wasn't the lead. By the early 1930s, Gary Cooper was no longer a rising star. He was a full-blown Hollywood sensation. His tall, lanky frame, combined with his deep, calm voice and laid-back demeanor, made him the perfect leading man for a new generation of films. Now, what really set Gary Cooper apart from other actors? Well, it was his ability to portray the quintessential American hero, someone strong, silent, and deeply moral. He wasn't the kind of actor who needed to over-dramatize or shout his way through a scene. Cooper had a quiet intensity that made you believe in the characters he played. Take High Noon, 1952, for example, one of Cooper's most iconic roles. In the film, he plays Will Kane, a town marshal who's forced to stand up against a gang of criminals. Cooper's portrayal of Kane is subtle yet powerful. He doesn't need to say much. His eyes and body language do all the talking. And that's what made audiences love him. He made heroism seem simple, relatable, and real. For his performance in High Noon, Cooper earned his second Academy Award for Best Actor. He had already won his first Oscar for Sergeant York in 1941, where he played a real-life war hero. Cooper had a knack for playing characters who were quietly brave, and that's what made him such a beloved figure both on and off screen. But let's not pretend everything in Cooper's life was as clean-cut as his on-screen image. Behind that calm exterior, Cooper's personal life was full of complications, especially when it came to his relationships. In 1933, he married socialite Veronica Balfe, and together they had a daughter, Maria. By all accounts, Cooper loved his family, but he also had a reputation for being somewhat of a ladies' man. His romantic affairs were the subject of many rumors, with whispers of flings with Hollywood starlets like Patricia Neal and Grace Kelly. His affair with Patricia Neal, in particular, caused quite a stir. Neal and Cooper fell in love while working on The Fountainhead, 1949, and their relationship lasted for several years. Neal was deeply in love with him, and the affair nearly ended his marriage. Ultimately, Cooper returned to his wife, but the scandal remained one of Hollywood's most talked-about love triangles. As Cooper aged, he gracefully transitioned from leading man roles to more mature characters. He starred in films like Friendly Persuasion, 1956, and Love in the Afternoon, 1957, proving that he could still captivate audiences even in his later years. He didn't need to be the dashing young hero anymore. Cooper had something more valuable: wisdom and experience. What's fascinating about Cooper is that he never really stopped being a leading man. Even when the Western genre started to decline in popularity, Cooper remained in demand. His appeal transcended genres, making him one of the few actors of his time who could successfully navigate the changing tides of Hollywood. What's the first thing you think of when you hear Gary Cooper? Chances are, you think of a cowboy riding off into the sunset. But Cooper was more than just a Western star. He worked in a wide variety of genres, from war films to romantic dramas to comedies. He was one of the most versatile actors of his time, even if his best remembered roles were often in westerns. Gary Cooper wasn't just a great actor. He was a symbol of a certain kind of American masculinity. He represented strength, integrity, and a calm sense of moral clarity, qualities that seemed to be in short supply even then. He made it look easy, but the truth is, Cooper worked hard to maintain that image. He was deeply private, often shunning the limelight, and preferred to let his work speak for itself. Unfortunately, Cooper's health started to deteriorate in late 1950s. He was later diagnosed of prostate cancer that had migrated to the lungs and bones. Despite his illness, Cooper did not quit working. He made his last picture, The Naked Edge, in 1961 before his death. Gary Cooper had his final breath on June 13, 1961, a mere 6 days after his 60th birthday. His death was a massive blow to Hollywood, and he was mourned by fans and peers alike. John Wayne, Cooper's friend and a fellow star of the Western films, gave a stunning speech describing Cooper as the most underplaying star in the business and the biggest scene stealer. Though Gary Cooper is long gone, his legacy lives on. He remains an icon of old Hollywood, a star who left an indelible mark on the film industry. His portrayals of the strong, silent type may seem like a relic of another era, but they continue to inspire actors today. From the ranches of Montana to the glitz of Hollywood, Gary Cooper's life was the stuff of legend. He may have been a quiet man, but his influence will be felt for generations to come. Well, that's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to stay updated with more captivating content, hit that red subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a video from us. Your support means everything.